What is going on, obscure mic people? It's Bart coming back at you, and I have a special week lined up for you. It's Vintage Week. Yep. No sound effects needed on this episodic YouTube channel. It's Vintage Mic Week. And today, first vintage mic of the week, I'm going to try to drop 3 videos on you this week, all vintage microphones. The first one I've got for you is a Beyerdynamic handheld ribbon microphone. It is the Beyerdynamic M500 NC. M500 NC. It is a single ribbon in a handheld form. Let me show you this mic real quick. It is vintage. It is old. I did get it from Goodwill. Beyerdynamic. It's got a big old head on it. That's what she said. Yep, went there. But this is a Hypercardioid ribbon microphone. And here's something I'm going to do a disclaimer about. I'm going to throw plosives into this ribbon microphone, but the reason I'm going to do that is because this has a 4-stage windscreen to keep the ribbon from getting any wind. It's got a metal grill, first and foremost. It's got a little bit of space and another layer of mesh underneath of the initial layer of mesh. And then it has this little, I would take this apart for you, but I took it apart once and I had to put the windscreen back in place there. I should have videoed it, but there's a lot of screws around this metal ring that go into that. I'm not going to do it, but it's got this little piece that goes over top of the ribbon, and it has a little fabric hood, like a upside down U shape, like a tunnel roof. And that's layer number 3. And then built into that thing that layers on top is layer number 4. There's 4 little, it's actually quite ingenious. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. The reason I'm comfortable doing this on camera is because this is a stage microphone. This is meant for stage use. So whenever someone's up close and lipping the mic, they say in the manual, you can do that. P's, T's, all those things, it's not going to get through to the ribbon enough to do any damage. So there you go. It looks like I've already done one test. Let's get right on top of the microphone so you can hear that proximity effect on the M500. It is nice and smooth, I will say that. Go ahead and do some handling noise back and forth with the microphone. There's a little bit there, but you know what? I'm going to say something else right now. One of my favorite mic brands I've used on this show, duh, you guessed it, the one I'm talking about, Beyerdynamic. Every mic I've used from Beyerdynamic is quality, absolute quality. So this microphone, even though it's a ribbon, if you haven't noticed already, it's not extremely dark. That's because there's an internal, almost high-pass filter effect, a low cut, that takes away a lot of the mud. This is meant to be an on-stage microphone. It's meant to come through nice and clear. And that it does. It is very clear. It sounds like an on-stage microphone. The clarity's really good. It's pretty smooth. There's a tiny bit of harshness there at the top where it's got that emphasized top end, but it's not anything crazy at all. Let's go ahead and turn the microphone a little bit. 90 degrees. Hypercardioid cuts off real hard. 180 degrees, still cutting off real hard. 90 degrees, and then slowly back around to the front of the microphone so you can hear that as well. I'm going to say something else. I turned this on initially and I had processing on, and I think I like the way this mic sounds unprocessed better than I do processed. We'll find out. You'll be the judge. I'll be the judge when I watch it back and listen. But I think it sounds really good unprocessed. I got it plugged into the Rodecaster Pro just for the sake of knowing, and the level is turned up to a 44, so it is a gain-hungry microphone. Obviously, it's a ribbon, but let's go ahead and be quiet to see if we hear any hiss from the preamps being turned up. There's a little bit of noise there, I think, which I'm real close to maxing out the Rodecaster Pro. So this is one of the few microphones that I would prefer to have an inline preamp like a Clark Technic CT1, Cloud Lifter, Fedhead, that kind of thing. I would like to have something in my, audio chain to give it a little extra oomph without that noise factor. Again, it's not super necessary, but I think it would work better that way. Let's go ahead and throw some processing on the microphone so you can get an idea of what it sounds like with the Aphex Big Bottom, some compression, and a de-esser. We'll turn that on now. All right, so we've got compression, de-esser, Big Bottom. This is what the microphone sounds like. Again, I think it sounds perfectly fine, but there was something about it unprocessed that was really pleasing to my ears. So that, I don't know. I'm not torn. I was going to say I'm torn. I'm not torn. I like it better unprocessed, but it still sounds good processed. I just feel like that compression gives it a little extra kind of a digitally crispy sound. Just a little too crispy for me. So when we turn that off, now we're back to the regular sound of the microphone. I just think it sounds a lot smoother and natural with no processing. So got to hand it to Beyerdynamic. This mic, in my opinion, needs no processing to sound pretty good. I think it sounds pretty damn good. Vintagey and delicious here on Obscure Mics this week. I'm not going to drag this out too long. I will say there is a bunch of different models of this microphone. They are all really close in what they bring to the table. There's the M500, I think was not an XLR connection. I could be wrong on that. There's an M500N that introduced an XLR, an NC, which I don't know. There's so many different ones that they brought out. But this is definitely one of the oldest models, and you can tell by the Beyerdynamic logo printed in it. I have the box as well. Look at that old school Beyerdynamic box right there. That's right. Love it. I got the case. I got everything in here. The only thing that sucks about that is the foam that was in the case is so old that it left some residue, and I cleaned it up the best I could. But without taking the mic completely apart, I would never be able to get this shine back. And even then, I'm not 100% sure what would bring the shine of the grill back. But I did the best I could, and it sounds good, and I don't mind that it looks a little funky. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to damage the ribbon, so I don't want to do too much to it. But let me know what you thought about this microphone in the comments down below. Again, it's Vintage Mic Week here on Obscure Mics, so who knows what's next? We do know one thing. It's going to be old. Old as shit. It's going to be an old vintage mic. Obscure Mics, thanks for listening. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Hit the join button to see videos that members only get to see. And be sure to subscribe, comment, discuss with me. Help the channel out with Amazon links. All that good stuff. Support your Obscure Mic douchebag. This guy. Peace out.